Alrighty, so this is an example of displacement reactions. Remember when I told you about how when we have a metal, so for example, sodium plus iron chloride, let's say iron chloride. So a metal, right, a metal plus a salt, a metal and non-metal together, this type of reaction only happens if this metal is more reactive than this metal. Right? So for example, sodium is very reactive, iron is okay. So this one, a reaction will happen. But if we try to switch it, say if we have Fe and NaCl, then this reaction won't happen because sodium is more reactive than iron. So this reaction can't happen. Okay, so that's the main thing that you need to focus on. These sort of displacement reactions where metal is replacing another metal only happens if the metal that's alone is more reactive. So let's look at the reactions that they gave you. N plus O sulfate, right? O sulfate, that would be your salt, your metal plus a non-metal. The non-metal is your sulfate. So this says that N plus O sulfate has a reaction. So we know that N is more reactive than O. And you have N plus P sulfate also causes a reaction. So you know that N is also more reactive than P. We don't know which one O and P is more reactive, but for now this is what we know. We know that N is more reactive than O and N is more reactive than P. Next we look at this, right? We look at this one. O and M sulfate is no reaction. So from this we know that M is more reactive than O. Right? M is more reactive than O, and M plus P sulfate works. There is a reaction between M and P sulfate. So we also know that there is a reaction between because there's a reaction between M and P sulfate, that means that M is also more reactive than P. So we know that N and M is above, O and P is below, right? So out of from this information here, we know that the two most reactive ones are N and M, and the two least reactive ones are O and P. If we look at the options, A is the only one where N and M are at the top, and P and O are at the bottom. Okay, and that's how you would do this kind of reaction, this kind of question. Okay, if that's unclear, please let me know.